Oscar Pistorius, is he going to get, he's been caught, is he? Oscar Pistorius just tying up. Oh my goodness, he's been caught by Oliveira of Brazil.
Hey guys, my name is Taco, and today is Tuesday, and I'm back with another lewd game. Now, my original goal was to really only play games on Steam, but then my local visual novel expert, Nick, told me about something not on Steam. At first, I was like, but then he was like, it's free. So I played Katawa Shoujo? Katawa Shoujo? Fuck it. I played a crippled dating simulator. Oh yeah, spoilers. You play Hisayo? Okay guys, I'm gonna warn you now. I don't speak Japanese and will pronounce literally none of these names correctly. You play Hisayo Nakai, a young boy who's about to get some in the forest, which is covered in snow, which is definitely not foreshadowing. As Awanako spills her feelings out to you, you have a heart attack. So, cool. Short and sweet. 10 out of 10. But what's this? You survived! You have arrhythmia, a heart condition that'll make you weak and generally kill you if you're not careful enough. As a result, you spend many months in the hospital, hopelessly alone, just like in real life. Your condition leaves your parents worried, so they transfer you to Yamaku Academy, a school for students just as disabled as you. Your first day in school really gives you a sense of the situation you're in. The student assigned to help you transition is deaf. The blind girl makes you tea. You're almost trampled by a girl with no legs. You meet an artist with no hands. Your neighbor is mentally disabled, and Hanako is shy. The first girl you encounter is Shizune, along with her translator Misha. Shizune is the class rep, as well as the student council president. She's kind of manipulative, and she tries several times to trick you into joining the student council because there's only like 2 actual members. Also in your homeroom is Hanako, who, due to several minor burns, is kinda shy. She skips a lot of classes hiding from people, and bolts from you the first time you talk to her. Though, can you really blame her? With flirting skills like these, I'd run too. The next, option you meet is Harry Potter. He brings a whole new meaning to conspiracy theorists. I usually just skip through most of his dialogue options, as I'm sure I would have done in real life too, so I stand by this as a valid move throughout the game. Then there's Lily. Calm, composed, and blind as a rock. However, with all that class, she doesn't learn that it's impolite to finger somebody's tea. She is one of the first people to make you feel welcome though, so I guess I can forgive her for contaminating the tea. You encounter the next girl as she's eating lunch, in the art room, in the late afternoon, with her feet. Rin is an artist. I was in art club for my entire high school career, and I can say, without a doubt, that Rin is a grand exaggeration, and this stereotype is why people thought we were weird to work with. And finally, there's Emmy, the professional runner, supportive friend, and overall just cheery person. Nothing gets her down, unless you ask literally anything about her feelings, in which case she'll just try and cut you off completely. I'm sure that's healthy. The choices that you make during this first chapter, consisting of about the first week, will determine which girl you pursue, or if you just die. You don't even die of a heart attack. You die because you fell off of a building when drinking with Kenji. I chose to spend some more time with Emmy, because she reminded me of my ex, and if there's one thing I know how to do well, it's bringing up repressed memories of the only woman who's ever truly loved me. That meant that I had to run though, and really run. Now, I detest running, but if it means that I get to see her without those legs, I'll do it. You almost fucking die again. But all in the name of getting her sweet, sweet runner bod, so it's okay. As an apology for almost killing you, Emmy makes you a lunch and invites you to eat with her and Rin on the roof. Though I think that almost killing yourself to make some friends is a bit extreme, I guess you can't really argue with results. At the end of the day, you help Emmy help Rin finish her mural for the upcoming festival, and she's just adorable. Alright, 4-Leaf. I was just joking about making her be a lot like my ex, but you guys don't have to keep proving me right. Please? On the day of the festival, Emmy wastes precious food that you've already paid for, and then convinces you to buy the 3 of them even more food that she approves of, and then you buy yourself more food later. After that, you spend the next several days running with her every morning, slowly taking in just how impressive she is when she runs. It quickly becomes clear that there's something there, as she claims to have also needed you to help her run in the mornings. Now, this doesn't really mean much until you come to learn that she doesn't trust anyone, just like my ex, and you're one of the first people that she finds herself depending on in a really long time. She alludes to an accident that took something away from her, but excuses herself by claiming that she's already made it over that hurdle in her life. During a track meet of hers, you get to spend some time with her mother and Ren, and despite prying as hard as you can, which, as advice guys, don't do this, Her friends and family won't give up anything. She wins the meet, obviously, because her calves don't get tired. You find yourself a lot more open to spending time with her, even if your natural instincts tell you not to. As a result, you get caught in the rain during a really poorly planned picnic. Despite the rain, she tells you that she's gonna run in the evening. You tell her she'll get sick. Plot twist, she gets sick. But you're head over heels for her at this point, so you worry about her and decide that you need to visit her in order to make sure that she's even still alive. She is, and you get to see those sweet, sweet stubs. You begin some friendly banter, and like every horny teenager, begin to roughhouse with her in the hopes of some minor physical contact. You eventually bite off more than you can chew though, literally pinning her to the bed and stumbling over yourself mentally as she looks up at you lovingly. After you panic yourself back into a neutral position, she falls asleep and uses you as a pillow. You don't know what else to do, so you just let her sleep until she wakes up crying. God, I wish that would quit happening to me. The next day, you aren't sure where you stand, so she just makes out with you at lunch to solve that problem. Things are now looking up for you. Your health is improving, you have several friends and acquaintances, you have a girlfriend, you've even done lots of reading. Now all you need is a goal in life, and you get one handed to you. Your homeroom teacher, a toy, talks to you about not only starting a science club with him, but about the prospects of becoming a scientist. Now you may be wondering what this has to do with dating Emmy, and nothing. I had just forgot what it felt like to have goals in life, and it felt nice for a little bit to feel like I had hopes and dreams. Throughout the past several days, you noticed Emmy has been walking kind of funny on one of her legs. You mention it to her, and like usual, she blows off your concerns. Eventually, you bully her into seeing the nurse, and therefore are the direct cause of her losing her legs again due to an infection. The next time you see her, she's stuck in a wheelchair, which means that, though she can no longer do lunch on the roof, she couldn't run away when she discovered all my emotional baggage and crippling psychological issues. To prove to you that she isn't useless, she cons you into wrestling her again, and instead of stopping with a loving look, she hops on you and grinds the shit out of you. Next morning, when you guys meet at the track, she decides that she still wants to roll with you, but she needs some gloves to prevent hand calluses. Now, I went into this knowing something was going to happen because my local Emmy expert, Nick, just kept hinting at the goddamn shed scene. You find some lube, and after some adventurous smooth talking on her part, she convinces you to give her anal since that means no babies. It goes poorly as expected. Almost directly after this, she tells you that she wants some time apart for studying. It's not the first time I've heard this one before, and it probably has something to do with my shortcomings in the shed. It's not the first time I've heard that one either. You start to wonder if maybe it was a breakup, so you force your way into her room to talk to her. It doesn't go well, and she tells you that she can't rely on you. Then she wants you to come to her mom's house with her. God, talk about bipolar. During lunch, the discussion gets a little heavy as both her mother and you bring up several sensitive topics. When she excuses herself to leave the room, you have two options. You can either go after her or talk to her mother. Now, the correct answer here would be to go after her and make it clear that, though you may not be around forever, at least for the time being, you're there if she needs somebody to just talk to, and not be forceful with your presence. But that's not what you do. Instead, you tell her that she needs you, and she isn't doing this the right way. You escalate it to the point that she ends it right on the spot and forces you out her goddamn front door. So I sat back and talked with her mom. I still got kicked out of the house, but at least this way she came back to me later. By picking the non-confrontational path, you're later capable of convincing her that, though she could do it by herself, it would just be easier if you were there to do it with her. Which is what I've been saying the whole goddamn time! A little more time passes, and things are going pretty well. She wants to take you on a trip though, and she wants to do it right. Now, normally, I'd be worried about just disappearing at this point, but instead, you find out you get to meet her dad. Nice guy. Really into cyborgs. After getting all fired up with how great you are with her parents, she takes you back to school and you guys start bumping stumps hard. At the end of the evening, she falls asleep in your arms, and you rest easy, knowing that, with her by your side, your future is the best possible outcome based on this series of choices. So, this game was definitely not what I was expecting. It was, dare I say, kind of pleasant to play. For a dating simulator that's main premise is dating crippled girls, it was surprisingly uplifting and cheerful. Though it could get kind of dark, having been developed entirely by 4chan users, its message with most of the girls is almost heartwarming. Like, I felt my heartbeat for the first time in 5 years, guys. Hell! Parts of the game made me want to improve my life, and I even considered getting up and running in the mornings because of it. I obviously didn't, but considering it was way more running than I've done since my freshman year of high school, so I'd say that counts. The writing for each character felt realistic, giving each girl their own personality that didn't feel forced or fake, which is super surprising given how quickly some things happen narratively in this game. Oh, you just cried over your dead father at his grave a few minutes ago? Well, I guess you're ready to go then. Oh, your dad just tried to treat us all like shit and maybe literally cut me down? Guess this is a good time to seduce me without my consent. Even though I fell into her line accidentally, I probably would have picked Emmy as my KS waifu anyway, because she's the only viable option. With Emmy, your health improves, you get a good career, and you have a life partner. I mean, your only other options are manipulation, self-destruction, poor health, or just an emotional trap. Emmy is the only one where everything is just good for you. Emmy is just best girl. You can't even argue it. The overall message of this game is pretty great. That being, even girls with scars are deserving of love, and that they can be just as normal as you. But that's not the theme. Despite their message being positive, the theme of this game remains pretty bleak. This isn't a game about dating girls who happen to have disabilities. It's the novelty of dating disabled girls. The true premise here, guys, is when you've got no other option, you might find out they're A-okay. But it doesn't matter how this game made me feel, because now we get to the part that everybody cares about. Well, it delivers. Both of the routes that I played had about 3 scenes each, though one of Shizune's was more literary than visual. From what little research I did on this game in order to keep it out of my browsing history, it looks like most of the girls have about the same amount, with the exception being Hanako, who only has 1. They're pretty alright scenes, with a few facial differences throughout, but it's basically the same picture, just for a long period of time. However, if you're really playing this game for something like that, you're gonna have a bad time. The payoff for getting anything glued is like 6 hours of playing a game about feels, and they're short. It would just be better to go incognito for a bit. But since it's free, those many hours are just profit. You don't even have to worry about time-money ratio for this game. It's free. Free! Each playthrough is going to take you some time. My first playthrough with Emmy took me about 7 hours to play, and though my Shizune run only took between 5 and 6, I got to skip the first hour of gameplay thanks to save scumming. Thanks to those numbers, the replay value of the game is pretty high due to the grandiose number of girls and the endings with each one of them, especially if you play the game linearly and aren't a cheating POS like me. Mechanically, there's a big issue that I encountered. KS suffers from the same problem that Fallout 4 did before I added too many mods, which is that you have zero idea what the options truly mean until after you're already way deep into them. It's been a few years since I was an idiot in high school who didn't understand women, and I found it hard to apply that mindset when making choices through Hisayo's eyes. I mean, I still don't get women, but I at least now have a longer list of wrong answers. I frequently found that when making a choice that would have been the logical answer, it totally backfired on me and ended up with the total opposite effect than the dialogue would have had you believe. Despite all my gripes, I totally recommend this game if you have a ton of free time at like work or school, work especially. It's definitely safe. I mean, it's free, it has a high replay value, and also allows you to fulfill the epic quandary of what would happen if your girlfriend was crippled without having to cripple her yourself. So I'm going to use the human body as a scale for the score of this game, and I'm going to take away 1 arm and a leg, but I'm going to give back a prosthetic leg. So take that however you want. And hey, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, click on this button to be taken to another one, or click on this one to be taken to a slightly different one. If no buttons appear, you're not doing it right. Please just kill me already.